Rapid7, it's a company that provides security insights to its customers. They use Docker to automatically spin up development environments in Docker Desktop, reducing onboarding time from days to minutes, and increasing release frequency from weekly to daily. Sounds cool, right? To hear more, we're pleased to welcome Kris Rivera, Principal Software Engineer at Rapid7. Kris, thanks for coming to DockerCon. Kris, let's start. Can you just share with our community a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Well, as you mentioned, SJ, I'm a principal software developer at Rapid7, and I've been a software developer for almost 15 years now. Something that people don't know about me is actually I'm a black belt in karate, and as a proud Latino, I love to salsa dance. It's in my blood.
Kris, coding and salsa dance, you just won the keynote right there. So, we can just declare this over. Now, Kris, tell us a little bit about your company, Rapid7.
Sure thing. So Rapid7 is a Boston-based company that helps organizations accelerate and innovate securely. Now, where I work, inside cloud security, or inside CloudSec for short, we help simplify security, cloud security, by allowing organizations to develop and build securely in the cloud. And just as a little DockerCon note, we just recently released a feature that allows customers to secure their containers in production in the cloud as well. So it's pretty important stuff.
Very cool, very cool. Now, Kris, you shared with me before some of the many automations that you put in place to help both your development teams as well as your customers. Yes. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so as an overview of what I've done at Rapid7 and at Inside Cloud Security for short, I've enabled us to be able to execute our development environment and spin up any different aspect of it in just a very short period of time. We starts with being able to start up your images and containers, install dependencies, code sharing across the containers, database migrations, and then spinning up any different part of the application that you need. So either the full stack or just a single database as well for any developer.
Now, Kris, you were showing us earlier some of the innovations that you and your team have put in place, and in particular, you're pushing Compose to its very limit. Yes. Can you go into the next level of detail? We're going to show it here to the community. What's going on there?
Oh yeah, for sure. So with Docker Compose, it was needed to be able to orchestrate all of our containers. We had a lot of different images from back end to front end, and one of the two big problems that needed to be tackled to achieve this were actually code sharing and also figuring out how to mount and commit images, layers back to our base images. So you'll see on that first segment here in the first section, the code sharing portion, that's the code volume here. The really important aspect of that is not necessarily the mounting locations, but that little :Z at the end. It took a little bit of documentation digging to figure that one out, but that allows us to be able to share code on the host machine as well as inside the container, and across many containers where the container can actually modify some of the code if necessary, as well as the host machine modify it to be able to trigger compilation. And then being able to ensure that dependencies are maintained across containers from run to run, we had to use Docker and Docker. So we installed Docker in the actual image, the base image, and then we mount the Docker socket within the container such that when you do download and install even incremental dependencies, you run a little commit line at the end and it will affect the host machine. So yeah, so sorry, continuing on, you can see that we're also using anchors as well to be able to ensure that we're not replicating any of the properties that we need, you always do not repeat yourself and want to make sure that as you continue down, then you are able to see as well that we have one single property bundle that you're able to spread inside of a service, and we just run like in our dependencies for our Python, we just run pip install and then just Docker commit, and it commits it right back to the base layer, and every container gets it subsequently. So it makes it really easy.
It's a great example of just pushing the tech to the edge, Kris. Very cool.
Thank you.
Kris, you also shared with us earlier, the results are pretty fantastic. Can you share with the community, what was before the situation in terms of whether duration, timeframes, latency, and what you're seeing now?
Sure. So, as with any development environment in any place, you follow the documentation, and it takes, sometimes days or whatnot, most of 2 days. I was able to take that, put it into Docker file, use Compose, and took what is days down to 15 minutes. Wow. And after the post initialization, down to 5.
Wow. It's fantastic results, Kris. Congrats to you and your team
Thank you
for
so
those types of
much.
results. So, Kris, we appreciate your sharing your story and the Rapid7 story here today with our community. What are you, as you think about today's DockerCon, what are you looking forward to?
Sure. I mean, I just learned about Docker extensions, so I am super excited about that. But if you're also excited by what I had to say and want to deep dive with me later in my breakout session, Development Environments in Docker, come join me later and let's learn together.
Awesome. Kris,
Thanks
so much for joining us today at DockerCon.
Thank you so much.